how many people came through his orbit? How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it for so long?
Cardi B. Cardi got her cheek back, allegedly.
I hope that ain't true.
Cardi B has been pulled straight into the eye of the storm. The headlines are already screaming, and the whispers inside the industry are even louder. The FBI officially called her in for questioning in connection to the Diddy scandal. Think about that for a second. One of the biggest stars in hip-hop, one of the most recognizable names in pop culture, now being asked to sit down with federal agents about one of the darkest sagas to ever rock the music world. This isn't studio beef. This isn't online shade. This is a case that has already taken down icons. And now Cardi is sitting in the witness chair. The shockwaves are everywhere, and the timing couldn't be more dangerous for her.
Are you surprised by the evidence that's already coming out in the criminal trial?
No, I'm not surprised. I experienced some of those things. Witnessed violence.
What makes this even more explosive is the reason the feds want her voice. For years, Cardi wasn't just another star who knew Diddy from afar. She was there, present at his legendary, now infamous parties. We all saw her on the guest lists, arriving at birthday celebrations where the room was filled with names like Beyoncé, Jay-Z, Kris Jenner, and every glittering figure in the Hollywood meets hip-hop crossover. At the time, it looked like glamour. Today, it looks like a lineup of potential witnesses. Federal investigators are laser-focused on those gatherings, which are now under scrutiny for more than bubbly toasts and red carpet looks. They're digging into whether those nights doubled as hubs for some of Diddy's most troubling operations. And Cardi? She wasn't a one-time visitor. She was a frequent guest. That makes her valuable and vulnerable. The question gnawing at everyone is simple. What does Cardi know? On one hand, she may have been nothing more than a socialite enjoying a scene, stepping into the mansion, snapping pictures, moving on. On the other, she might have seen enough to provide the FBI with the kind of testimony that cracks this whole network wide open. These parties weren't just glitter and lights. Court documents have already described hidden cameras, secretive behavior, and strange rules that now sound sinister in hindsight. Witnesses claim Diddy's homes had recording devices in every room, allegedly capturing celebrities and executives in compromising positions. If Cardi can confirm even a fraction of that, the fallout could shake the industry in ways we haven't even begun to imagine.
They needed to show that there was an agreement, that the organization knew what it was doing, that it was an enterprise, not in law, but in fact, that people understood the object of the enterprise, which was to promote Sean Combs and his brands and sort of fulfill any deviant desires he may have had, and then to cover up any crimes committed over the course of fulfilling the desires.
But the rumors are already running ahead of the paperwork. Some insiders insist Cardi wasn't just on the guest list. She was part of the atmosphere that helped Diddy keep his empire spinning. Not a co-conspirator, not in on the operations, but someone whose very presence as a chart-topping star gave legitimacy to gatherings that were allegedly far darker behind closed doors. Was she there unknowingly serving as a kind of cover, proof to outsiders that everything was just innocent celebrity fun? Or did she see moments, details, things that stuck in her memory, things she may now be forced to relive under oath? That fine line between witness and enabler is exactly what makes this so dangerous for her career. And then, as if her legal troubles weren't enough, the shadows of her personal life have collided with the scandal in a way that feels almost too perfect for a tabloid script. Her marriage to Offset has been crumbling in public view, with divorce filings, reconciliations, cheating rumors, and live-streamed rants that spilled raw emotion into the open. At first, it all looked like messy celebrity drama, until whispers began that Offset's move to file again wasn't just about infidelity or resentment. Some say it was a calculated attempt to step away before the Diddy story reached her. Did Offset sense that Cardi's ties to those parties could explode into something criminal, something that could pull both of them under? His decision to walk may have been a personal breakup, or it may have been survival instinct.
Continue to engage in all these freak-offs with him, and he sounds really pissed off.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening.
Cardi herself hasn't helped her case. In one fiery live stream, she admitted she regretted marrying Offset, saying, "I've always been too good for you." She followed it with lines that sounded both bitter and resigned, thanking him for their children, but accusing him of pettiness and jealousy. At the time, it looked like another round in their soap opera. Now, people are wondering, was she also lashing out because the walls were closing in, because she knew the FBI might soon be knocking? The overlap is hard to ignore. Offset pushing distance, Cardi doubling down on her independence, and federal investigators circling like hawks. And here's the bigger picture that makes it terrifying for everyone in Diddy's circle. Cardi isn't just a witness, she's a potential gateway. She knows the guest lists, the dynamics, who slipped in through back doors, who stayed late when the cameras were gone. Imagine her under federal questioning, giving names that no one ever thought would come out. We're talking industry legends, billion-dollar brands, political figures who shook hands at these gatherings. Even one confirmed detail from her could unravel careers. No wonder the industry is on edge.
This was when his personal assistant was on the stand, and they were asking him about that he had witnessed that Sean Diddy Combs had taken, and he talked about and he said that one of those pills was in the shape of President Obama's face. Got some reaction from the juries, as if just to make an acknowledgement as to, oh, that's really interesting. That was in the shape of President Obama's face.
Of course, Cardi isn't stepping into this as a saint. Her own name is stained with allegations that won't go away. Court filings from Imani Ellis accuse her of a violent altercation back in 2018, one that allegedly left scars requiring plastic surgery. The accusations paint Cardi as someone who used her fame like a weapon, even allegedly pressuring Ellis out of her job as a security guard. That trial is still waiting on its day, and the optics are brutal. A star already accused of intimidation now being dragged into the biggest scandal the music industry has seen in decades. How much credibility will she have as a witness? How much leverage will prosecutors really give her? Her reputation inside the hip-hop world is also far from stable. Just months ago, she reignited her feud with Bia, sparking diss tracks, Instagram lives, and accusations of cheating on Offset. Bia even released a song titled Sue Me that openly suggested Cardi had been unfaithful. Offset himself once fanned those flames with a now-deleted post hinting at betrayal before backtracking. On the surface, this was standard rap beef, messy but forgettable. Now, in the context of Cardi being questioned by federal investigators, it looks like another vulnerability, another sign that her personal and professional worlds are cracking in parallel.
Will you help me? I want to hear your music, so I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. So now no more communication.
And while Cardi continues to posture online, her ex has been firing his own shots. Offset accused her of threatening to take what he worked for, warning of a court war over their split. Again, at the time, it seemed like bitter divorce talk. But think about it. What if Offset knew her legal exposure could eventually drain their shared empire? What if walking away and fighting in civil court was the only way to salvage his side before her connections to Diddy's world bring federal seizures, financial penalties, and public disgrace? It may sound cynical, but in this industry, survival instincts are everything.
We've talked about the fact that there's sometimes videos or photos or what don't get admitted to a case because they're
overly
prejudicial.
Right. This is getting admitted. Both sides.
It's definitely getting admitted.
Both sides agree. It's going to be admissible. The defense has a hurdle to jump. I will tell you that they vote in the end, and the vote may surprise.
Pressure on Cardi is unbearable. To the public, she's still the Bronx superstar, with chart toppers and designer looks. To the FBI, she's a key puzzle piece in unraveling how Diddy operated. And to insiders watching closely, she's a ticking time bomb whose testimony could ignite scandals far bigger than anything we've seen. But here's the question everyone's whispering and nobody dares say too loudly. Can the feds really trust Cardi B, or is there more to her story than meets the eye? And the ripples don't stop with her. The FBI's reach is spreading like wildfire across Hollywood and the hip-hop elite, and every single person who ever stepped foot in Diddy's mansions is now looking over their shoulder. Remember those star-studded birthday parties? The images of Beyonce and Jay-Z, Kris Jenner and her daughters Kate Beckinsale, Naomi Campbell, even Paris Hilton. Those same glossy nights that once made headlines for fashion statements are now being picked apart in federal files. Investigators know Cardi was there, but she wasn't alone. And if she starts talking, she could hand over a list of A-listers that would make the whole industry shake. Nobody wants their name whispered in a federal office. And yet here we are, waiting for the first subpoenas to land in mailboxes.
I mean, let's just be real for a second. There are a lot of lawyers who call this legal extortion, and that this is the way the legal system works, which is you threaten somebody with reputational harm. And in this case, it's interesting that Jay-Z, who's very wealthy, said it would be financial ruin.
This is the part where the story stops being about Diddy and becomes about an entire culture that protected him. The tales of so-called freak-offs, of hidden cameras and shady deals were always rumored. Now court filings confirm elements of them. And that makes Cardi's proximity all the more dangerous. Because she wasn't a background extra. She was center stage, often photographed laughing with the very people now being whispered about in lawsuits. If she chooses to cooperate fully, she can unravel who went where, who stayed late, and who was really in the room when the curtains were pulled shut. And that's why people with far more power than her may be getting nervous. The pressure of carrying that kind of knowledge doesn't come without a cost. In recent months, we've seen Cardi break down on live streams, crying, raging, sending cryptic messages that fans wrote off as marital problems. But looking back, they read differently. Posts about betrayal, about being too good for Offset, about regretting decisions. Could those be the words of someone buckling under the weight of secrets? She's long been brash and unapologetic, but lately, her rants have a darker edge, the tone of someone who knows something bigger is coming. Was she lashing out at Offset, or was she trying to warn us all that she's caught in something far larger than her own marriage?
A lot of times you'd have him with a younger female, and there's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
Some industry voices go even further, suggesting that Cardi has been pressured into silence at times. Rumors swirl that certain posts disappear too quickly, that she's been cautioned about saying too much during heated moments. If that's true, then the question becomes, who is controlling the narrative around her? Is she being shielded by people desperate to keep her from revealing what she knows? Or is she the one trying to protect herself from forces that could easily turn on her? Overlay that with her war against Offset and it only gets murkier. We've all watched the chaos, the public fight, the reconciliations, the accusations of cheating and betrayal. He even hinted once in a since-deleted post that she had crossed lines while pregnant. Later, he brushed it off as drunken anger, but the image stuck. If Offset really believed Cardi was entangled in things beyond their marriage, his decision to walk could have been self-preservation. It's one thing to divorce your partner, it's another to make sure you're not tied financially or legally to someone who may soon be testifying in a federal investigation. And if Cardi does take the stand, she won't just be risking other celebrities, she could be risking Offset himself.
Keep making moves on top of moves on top of moves until the move that you make grants you to be the king. Checkmate or kingmate.
Kingmate.
You dig what I'm saying? It's all a game. Hey, what I say? It's all entertainment, baby. It's all entertainment. It's all entertainment.
Because let's not forget, Offset was right there at many of those parties too. The photos prove it. If Cardi names names, how long before someone names him? His rush to create distance may look now less like heartbreak and more like strategy. Was he warning Cardi, pleading with her to stop before she got dragged in deeper? Or was he cutting ties early to save his own brand? The ambiguity is exactly what makes this saga so intoxicating. What makes the story even more disturbing are the mounting allegations about Diddy's network of hidden cameras. Court filings and insider claims point to recording devices scattered throughout his properties, capturing intimate and often compromising footage of guests who thought they were safe behind closed doors. These weren't casual home security setups. They were reportedly planted with precision, positioned to watch every move inside his mansions. If true, that would mean every laugh, every whispered conversation, every private act could have been documented for reasons no one wants to imagine.
All I'm saying is, if I felt like my girl was cheating, I'm gonna get it off of these two. If I felt like my girl was cheating and she said these things to dispel my thought, it would not be dispelled.
No, it would not at all.
It would actually.
This chilling possibility adds a new layer of risk for Cardi B. As a frequent guest at those gatherings, she may have been unknowingly recorded herself. Even if she was only there for the music and the energy of the scene, the cameras wouldn't have discriminated. The thought that hours of footage could exist, capturing her presence alongside the industry's elite, raises terrifying questions. Could her testimony to the FBI confirm the existence of such tapes? And if so, what happens when investigators demand to see who else was caught on film? The idea of a vault of recordings also hints at how Diddy may have maintained power for so long. In a world where image is everything, nothing holds leverage like video evidence. Imagine knowing that some of the biggest names in music, film, and politics could be compromised by a few seconds of footage. For years, those in his circle might have stayed silent, not out of loyalty, but out of fear that stepping out of line would mean seeing their most private moments exposed. Cardi's knowledge of how those parties worked could be the key to unlocking this darker truth. And the speculation doesn't stop there. If tapes exist, they may not have been used only for blackmail. Some insiders fear that they were part of Diddy's own obsessions, cataloging the chaos he orchestrated as a form of control. Others whisper about collectors, shadowy figures willing to pay fortunes for access to footage of celebrities in unguarded situations. It's an angle that moves this case beyond personal scandal and into something resembling organized exploitation. Cardi's testimony could determine whether this was paranoia or a full-fledged system of surveillance and control. What keeps people awake at night is the sheer scale of what might be out there. If every guest was potentially filmed, then no one, no matter how powerful, was truly safe inside those walls. That means the footage could involve not just musicians, but actors, athletes, executives, even politicians who mingled in Diddy's orbit. And if Cardi confirms that she saw signs of cameras or heard conversations about recordings, she may become the witness who forces the lid off a vault of secrets that the entire entertainment industry has prayed would never see daylight.
I don't know this, but it just seems very suspicious when you go through and you look at in the history of different people that can make you go away if you listen, I've worried about some of the things that I talk about on my show.
And then there's the broader fallout. Already, other women like Miami have been named in lawsuits accused of everything from moving pink powder to receiving stipends as part of Diddy's lifestyle. Carlisa Saffold, Blueface's mother, even went live, claiming there were attempts to recruit Christian Rock into that same shadowy world. If those claims hold weight, then Cardi's testimony could act as a bridge, linking those stories together, turning rumors into evidence. That would mean the circle of implicated figures could grow from a few to dozens, maybe even hundreds, depending on how deep the FBI wants to dig. Meanwhile, Cardi continues to play her part in public, throwing shade and rap beefs, arguing online, trying to project her usual fiery confidence. But to many fans, it feels like a performance hiding something far heavier. She's still dropping bars aimed at rivals like Bia, still threatening lawsuits over accusations. But behind those moves is the specter of something she can't clap back at with lyrics. Federal investigators aren't trolls. They're patient, methodical, and relentless. That mismatch is terrifying.
I'm sorry, I'm just I'm in this moment right now. This is crazy. Sorry. People don't really know how much what it does to you when something that you love is taken from you and thrown away like it don't even matter, and then they move on with their lives and you're stuck. You're stuck. During those years, you're still stuck 21 years later.
And we can't ignore the possibility that Cardi's cooperation could split the industry in two. If she spills everything, she may become a pariah, cut off from the very world that made her. If she protects those secrets, she risks getting swallowed by them when the feds come knocking again. Either way, the Cardi B we knew before this scandal broke will not be the same woman on the other side. One thing is certain, this story is just beginning. The dominoes are lining up, the parties of the past are turning into crime scenes of the present, and the witnesses are running out of places to hide. So we leave you with this. Will Cardi B step forward as the unlikely hero who brings down an empire of silence? Or will she tumble with the rest? When the walls finally collapse? Let us know what you think in the comments, and until next time, stay sharp, because the next bombshell could drop any moment.